What's up? It's a Ninja Prodigy back here with another video. And just to start off with, I know it's been about 3 months since my last upload, but COVID-19 has made things kind of difficult. But hey, things are starting to ease up a little bit, so there was a competition in Pinellas Park, which is in Tampa, Florida, at Jungle Gym. And it was a great comp. It was actually my first time at the gym. Did pretty well, but I'm actually going to show you guys gradually how things went, because this was actually a 3-stage course. It was pretty fun, pretty intense, but yeah, I'm going to show you guys how things went. The first obstacle here were some steps into some ring swings. A couple of people got hung up here, but with some straight momentum that helped get me through it here. So then this was straight into some hanging objects to try to save some time. However, I grabbed the rope on the wrong side of the pillar, so that wasted some time. That's probably the one spot where I could have saved a decent amount of time. But then I went straight into the next ring, into another pillar, which this one swung into a cat grab. And then you had to hop over into the flying shelf grab. This is where you could save some time if you did continuous chase. I did it for the first one, but however, I had to take an extra swing for the second one there, which wasted some time, so I could have saved some time there. Into the rumbling dice, straight into the Big Dipper. So this one would slide down straight to a trapeze bar, and then I could have taken less time here, but hey, it was about moving on. So it was a spider climb into the finish line. So after stage 1, I happened to finish 4th of 14 in my division. So, which is pretty good. There were 7 that moved on, was the top 50%. I completed all the obstacles, but just time-wise, I wasn't one of the fastest ones. But hey, I knew stage 1 was a speed course. That's not really my thing. I typically like harder, more intense courses, but still, 4th place, not bad, despite the little hang-up on that one obstacle, which did waste some time. There's some other things which I could have done, like some continuous laches, but I knew I just had to complete the course in order to move on at that point, so I decided the smartest thing was obviously just to make sure I completed the course, and I did that, so I was able to move on to the next stage, stage 2, which I knew I'd probably do better on overall. Stage 2 here is less speed focus, which is good, but so the first one here, I was a little cautious, just getting on a thing. You don't want to fail on the first obstacle, because here it's one and done. Into a rope swing, into a landing platform. A bunch of people had a hard time sticking this dismount, but you had to go to decide to get right on the platform. This went straight into the jumping spider from these boxes, and then once you're done the jumping spider, there was no rest there, because you'd have to go around into these metal bars from this ring, as you're about to see, and then you go straight into these metal bars, and then you had to traverse the wall using only your hands until you got to the dismount. However, here I could have taken less time rest afterwards, because I decided to chalk up here, because in the long run, that's probably where I could have saved some time. But however, this bungee ropes, they could be a little tricky, because those ropes do fall a little bit. They drop because they have a lot of give on them due to the bungee cords on the top of them. And this would be straight into the dismount. This next one was a new obstacle I haven't seen before. Kind of tricky, but yet with fast steps. It was these spinning cookies. If you didn't land right in the center, they would spin on you, and that would cause you to fall. I decided to chalk up before this next obstacle, which were some hanging poles. However, I accidentally misgrabbed it and kind of got twisted up a bit, which affected my grip a little on this. I had to adjust myself here and to get to the big reach. And then there was another one there until the dismount. Decided to reach for that. Here I was actually starting to run out of time, about 2 minutes in at this point on a 3-minute course. Time was definitely starting to become an issue here. However, I decided to chalk up because I haven't really seen some of these handholds before. It was a UFO with a smaller surface area, which should make it theoretically easier, but again, haven't tried it to this point. And then you had to go straight into a spinning bar. This thing would twist it all over you, and it's very unpredictable how it was, so you have to use switch grip here and land it very evenly. And then I was starting to get a little off on my swing, but however, I just landed dismount, almost fell off there, losing my balance there, but however, just got on there. However, at this point, I only had about 30 seconds left, so I had to get a chalk off. So I probably knew I couldn't get the entire lightning bolts in here, but I decided to get an attempt in anyway. Even if I was starting to run out of time, should have left myself more time for rest here. So as soon as I swung here, my grip did let go, which is kind of a bummer, but oh well. So after stage 2, I made it to the final obstacle. I was starting to run out of time, but I was still able to finish third. Both the other competitors failed on the lightning bolts as well. I was just happened to be the slowest of the three there, but still, it was the top 4 that moved on of the next group, and I happened to be third place there, so I moved on to stage 3. Overall in that course, there was a couple of I avoided some potential exits there, so I'm glad I was able to survive into the lightning bolts. However, I wish I had a little more time so I could rest or make sure I was actually fully prepared for the lightning bolts, because I kind of just gave an attempt because I only had 30 seconds left. I probably knew I wasn't going to be able to finish that obstacle anyway. Sadly, I didn't get to try that obstacle afterwards because they had to reset for stage 3, but overall, I knew I could probably do the lightning bolts. I've done it at Ninja Street, so I'm prepared with the lightning bolts. It did take me out a Ninja Fit in Orlando, but overall, I guess I could always practice that obstacle, but again, it's more of a timing thing. But again, I moved on to stage 3, which I knew was going to be a very intense course at a new gym, so I was really hyped and prepared for stage 3 because I knew I had a good chance of winning at one of these more harder, more grip intensive courses. Now that we're on stage 3, this is where things start to get tougher. Starting with these floating boards, these were very challenging, mostly just because they put your grip in an awkward position. They like to rock back and forth on you. I'd say at least a third of the competitors who attempted this stage, maybe even more, failed on these. And I kind of had a little shaky of a grip. One of my hands was upside down and uncomfortable. So this kind of put me in a very precarious situation here. Wasn't exactly sure what to do with my hands. However, I had to adjust, but it's easier said than done adjusting your hands when you're hanging on a floating board like that. So then it was into the third floating board there. At this point, my grip was starting to die a little. I was pretty surprised because I've been used to floating boards before. But however, these ones were just really awkward, really taxing on your grip. So I knew I had to get this done because at this point, nobody had done the floating boards. I knew I had to become the first one because this would put me in a great position to become first in my division. So I decided to just reach the landing platform. So I decided to just build up some swing, and I just got my foot on there, and then I had to pull myself up using core strength. So I became the first person to do that particular obstacle, which I was extremely excited of. However, now I was glad I did the obstacle. Now my hands are starting to get a little more taxed because I was probably hanging on those floating boards for over a minute, which will easily tax your grip here. The next one were some monkey bar laches, but however the bars really want to fall out and they rotate, so I kind of didn't realize that and I decided to reach for them. That actually cost somebody trying to reach for them. However, the next obstacle, you just have to kind of hop on these ones because these ones rotate still, but they're much thicker. And then I decided to go to dismount, just got it there. However, this next obstacle, I've never really seen anything like it before, and I think that kind of got in my head a little, but at this point, my hands were starting to get a lot more taxed, and I never really saw something that it was a spin hopper, which I saw before, but a very small little ledge on a dropping bookshelf. You're just gonna see kind of how that works, I guess. And then I'm trying to get my swing built up, but then it opened and I fell. Here's the redemption on the obstacle I failed on stage 3. So you can see those things like to drop and they're a very small grip. And then the spin hoppers, they do like to spin on you. And those, again, small grip. And then you have to flip over to the other side. This one was pretty tricky. A decent number of people failed here. And this was a very tough one. And then I decided to skip it to go straight to the bottom one there to save some time. And then this is what would have been the next obstacle. It was pretty fun, but also pretty challenging. It's slingshot, which was basically seen last year on American Ninja Warrior. So you have to basically launch the bar onto those slingshots, and basically it helps propel you to get to the next one. But however, again, it's very tricky, and then you have to get it to the cradle on the other side there. Overall, it was a pretty fun, but again, challenging obstacle. So, as you can see from stage 3, I only got a couple of obstacles in, but the first couple of obstacles were really tough, so my performance actually got me first placed in my division of about 14 competitors, I think it was about. So, yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with my results. even though I did fail on the third obstacle because I've never seen anything like that before. It was a really weird obstacle, quite a lot of fingertip grip strength. Wasn't kind of prepared for that, and I kind of wasted a lot of energy on the first obstacle and the second obstacle because I was hanging on for the first obstacle for over a minute, so that would obviously waste a bunch of time, energy, grip strength, etc. But again, I was able to get the win there at my first competition at Jungle Gym. Overall, great gym, great competition, and we made sure that to observe COVID-19 social distancing as much as possible while still having a fun competition. So again, first place, I'm really happy and I'm really glad about the results. And yeah. So some things I could improve on were obviously my speed and timing throughout the course, because due to timing things, I went from fourth to third to first, mostly just because people were failing earlier and earlier, so that made my performance on the obstacles more important and less focused on time, since the courses obviously got tougher as we progressed on. But again, I'm always more of a guy to make sure that you have your time to make sure that you could fully complete each obstacle. But again, with not the uploading thing, just on a separate note, I have a bunch of videos in store and I'm going to be starting to upload them more often. So you guys are going to have a bunch of episodes coming soon. So see you then.